Previously on Survivor Branford. As night crept in, the game finally veered from its path, with Michelle being voted out in a move led by Danny. Despite things going to plan, many felt unhappy about the move afterwards and wondered if Danny took too big a swing too early. Undeterred by any chatter, Danny continued to push forward and was vocal in Haley as his next target. Not wanting to be blindsided again, Haley plotted her revenge against Danny and went about doing so using the same people that Danny was counting on to make his plan work. With one major decision left to make before the first day concluded, the rest of the tribe elected to end the reign of Danny, delivering a unanimous blindside and sending the game speeding into the second half. 7 are left. Who will be voted out tonight?
I felt like Danny went
Smoothly, very smoothly.
lovely,
Exactly
and
how
like
we expected it
I
to
feel
go.
like our team is still really clicking here. You know,
We voted off two of the Tyler two numbers in a row. The numbers are starting to tip a little bit.
definitely Tim is not going.
Well, I have made it to day 2. I slept pretty well last night. I'm feeling good about my position in the game. Right now, I have a lot of faith in Dennis and Sarah and Brandon and I working as a unit. The Parkside Tribe people cannot be permitted to get into the final 3.
Knocking out 2 of our own in a row was, at least they know it's not like a completely solid block.
Yeah, we had a huge advantage. We had a little bit of cannibalism. The Park side might start to get the numbers.
I think if I had to choose between the 2, I would probably be leaning Tim here. But
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, because he's more likely to win a challenge, I think, was the big argument.
we can't let both of them, or either of them, honestly, get to that final.
I don't want to sound too cocky, but I feel like I feel just in a great spot right now. Me, Bren, and Dennis, I feel like are still the tight 3. We've been calling ourselves the triangle. I feel like all of us are just kind of like equal. I could see any of us winning. I wanted to go up to Brandon and tell him, we got the triangle, you and me are the hypotenuse. You know how we would be calling ourselves the triangle?
Yeah.
I want to let you know that me and you are the hypotenuse of the triangle.
Hypotenuse. Excellent.
I would call you my definite number 1.
Okay.
Dennis is my number 2, so.
Okay.
I don't want to get cocky, but like, if we just stick to it, it's like, it's right there.
I think it's good.
The 3 on the outside are Haley, Pat, and Tim. And I think that, at least in my mind, that's the perfect order to get rid of them. I think Haley's next. I think she's kind of just been more on the periphery to us. I feel like Pat's been working closer together with us. Although the past couple rounds, Pat has felt back to his like sketchiness. I think it's gonna be so hopefully easy to just go Haley, Pat, Tim. That's it.
Do you want to go in that order?
It has to be either Pat or Haley next.
Okay.
I would be nervous taking out Tim, and then Tasha would flip on us.
That's a really good point. So that means definitely don't get Tim first.
I feel like we are rock solid. You, me, Dennis, Brenda.
But am I the 4th? If I stick with you guys as a 4, I'm just going out 4th.
I don't
feel
think
like
that's
if
true.
Brandon, I don't think Pat trusts me at all. So I would be part of Pat.
Brandon said he's fine with that.
Yeah.
Feeling really confident today. I feel like my mindset of anybody but me, while we got to the merge, has worked out so far. Tim and I against 5 returners. I like those numbers. I like the movements we can make. At this point, I need to stay locked with Tim.
I'm good with Pat if everybody wants to do Pat.
I don't get the vibe that Pat actually wants to work with me at all. Like, I don't think he wants me to go.
Tim, are you planning on winning any immunity challenges?
I feel like I've been struggling. I could definitely use an immunity in this round.
I've been to all of the tribal councils so far, so really making it to day 2 is a huge accomplishment. There's some wiggle room within the returning players, so I'm not doomed, and these last 2 votes have gone perfectly. But how do I actually give myself a legitimate chance to the end?
I thought Pat and I had a good relationship.
So
and then,
did I, and he was so weird last vote.
I know, and like, but the thing is, I don't get the vibe at all that he wants to work with me.
Yeah.
I don't like.
Honestly,
and,
same.
and
Like, he's so sick.
Like, Pat is just sliding by. He's not really doing anything.
For me, it's easy to go Pat. Like Pat, just like nobody trusts him. He's been
I
squirrely
know.
the whole game.
I can just tell he does not want to go any farther with me.
I don't know what Pat's thinking. I
don't
can
know.
never tell what Pat's thinking.
I think this move actually does make sense for you because, like, At this point, nobody trusts Pat. He's kind of like a non-entity out here.
I think one of the only people that would actually go to the end with me, I think it's Dennis. So I'm gonna work on Dennis today and see how he feels with actually working with me and Tasha. If one of us goes out, the other person is not making Final Tribal Council because that person will have a huge story. So I need Tasha in this game.
I'm really worried about going here at 7. I think you were the only returning player that would actually like consider working with us. 3 of us, me, you, Tasha.
I mean, there's a case like if I bring you 2, maybe you guys split votes of those
and also,
people.
that's
and
also very possible. Like you are
like,
much more likely to get returning player votes over Tasha and I.
Tim, I have mixed feelings about. I do think he's put himself out there as one of the bigger threats. I think genuinely though, he feels like I'm one of the only returnees who might work with him. He could actually be an asset.
Well, like who else would be up for that? I guess.
Haley would. If you have like a 3 or 4 with Pat, like that's good. But honestly, I think they're gonna betray you.
I thought a little bit about taking both the newcomers, both Tim and Tasha, to the final tribal. They might split new person votes. We've worked together a little bit, but there is less trust and loyalty between us, I feel, where I feel like Sarah and Brandon have mostly had my back this game, where I don't know if Tasha and Tim would. I could be kicking myself more if I kind of let one of the new players get to the end and they beat us after we had that huge numbers advantage.
I think Dennis is the only one that actually goes to end with us.
I feel like Brandon, Sarah, and Dennis are like so tight. I want us in the final.
I was telling Dennis, I want it to be me, you, Dennis.
So I'm gonna try to sow some discord between Sarah, Dennis, and Brandon, because I would guess the 3 of them are super tight. So if I can put some of the heat on them, I think it'll take it off me so I can get to Final Tribal.
I don't think we can beat Brandon, and he's going on like this challenge run, so I feel like we need to get him out there.
So Haley and Pat are on the outside of that.
Exactly, and they're just like their own agents. So I feel like
So we could take them.
Sarah and Dennis would then vote out Pat and Haley.
I want to work together. Me too. I feel like Brandon's just been the strong competitive player, so to use that against him.
I think people would target him.
I think people would.
I think people would target him. I want to get Sarah and Dennis to turn on Brandon.
Yeah.
So I want to try to like stir that pot. Can I trust you?
I always said you can trust me, and that hasn't turned yet.
We're worried about an alliance of Dennis, Sarah, and Brandon as a final 3.
Yeah.
And that means if we get rid of Pat, then where do we go?
Because they're just going to pick us up. Those 3 are very, very tight.
Yeah.
Pat hasn't made any moves. Like, couldn't we all beat Pat? So should we keep around?
I woke up this morning convinced I was probably going home at this vote, but I honestly feel pretty good. Right now, the 2 names are Pat and Brandon. My concern is if we get rid of Pat, it'll be me, Haley, Tasha versus the 3 of them. So it'd be a 3-3 tie, and then what? Obviously, everyone is like, wow, like Brandon is really good at immunity challenges. So, I mean, you keep me and Tasha around, I think that's good for your game because we're on your side. If me or Tasha just go, who
I
out of all...
personally have no interest in putting out either of you.
They're like,
Feeling good and horrible at the same time. I think I've established myself, in my opinion, as the best player in the game remaining. I've won 2 out of the 3 immunity challenges. I came in the finals for the one that I lost. I have a nice little power triangle that's been working well for me. People might start to notice that. I think that the balance in my triangle might start to get lopsided.
The fact that he's won a lot of immunities does kind of like give him a notch on his resume, a little bit above most of the other players.
I think he's a huge threat in the jury because
of
his challenge wins, and he's super likable.
Yeah.
And he hasn't really created waves.
And the guy's a hunk, let's face it.
Have you talking about his hair?
His hair is the main character of the season. We've already established.
If you win a 3rd challenge, like, there's gonna be a lot of heat on you. You know what I mean?
I don't think I could win if I tried.
I think it's really important that I don't win an immunity challenge for the next few rounds. And I would love it if either Dennis or Sarah could win, because that would restore balance. I can't win this next challenge. I have to throw it, even if I think I could win it.
I was talking to Dennis and Brandon, and I was like, guys, I'm worried I'm your 4th. Like, I think I'm going out at 4, and I don't want to. And they were like, we don't think we can beat Sarah. I know you guys have been like super, super solid, but like Brandon, he's been so good at immunity challenges. He said to me like, no, we don't think we can beat Sarah.
What do I have? I don't have anything.
You are a very strong social player, and they think you're a jury threat because they're like, Sarah's very likable. I think she's just going to get all the jury votes. So they don't want to sit with you. I just feel like we need to get Brandon out.
if we take out Brandon now, the game is like blown, like, to what? To you, the only option is Brandon.
Yeah. Or Pat. But I think Brandon's just gonna go on around and just beat us all.
No better way to start day 2 of Survivor Branford than by putting individual immunity on the line. Each castaway has chosen their own spot on the beach and has a small window to put their ball on the disc before the challenge begins. Get that ball under control because this challenge begins in 3, 2, 1. You can see Sarah's disc rising and falling as she tries to control her breathing. As if the castaways needed anything else to worry about, their necks are also under a lot of pressure to maintain this position. Tim the first with a little bit of movement. And Tosh is going to be the first out of this challenge. Sarah with a great save. Pat's out, and we're quickly down to 5. Controlling your body and maintaining your focus is going to reward one of the castaways with a guaranteed spot in the final 6. Brandon trying to regain equilibrium, but can't do it, and he's going to be the next out. Sarah on the move again.
Now it's in the middle.
Maybe Dennis didn't sleep well, because it looks like he's trying to catch up during this challenge.
Really too much. It's moving.
Oh, there's a bug on me. No!
A bug now on Sarah. She's having all sorts of problems. Haley's ball has not moved an inch since she placed it. One of Tim, Sarah, Dennis, or Haley will soon have no fear of seeing their name at the next tribal council.
I wish I had those glasses. I could. No!
Sarah's ball getting a serious workout.
My neck hurts so bad.
Sarah fighting harder than anyone to stay in.
No! That was so close.
Trying to check on how others are doing is very tempting, but just one lapse in concentration might be all it takes to lose the ball.
Right back in the middle.
And Sarah finally goes out, and it's down to Tim, Dennis, and Haley battling for individual immunity. Tim with a close call, and letting us know about it. With a challenge like this, you never know if it'll only last another minute or another hour. It's only been a little bit, but Haley trying to keep her circulation up. Tim's still in this challenge, but having a much harder time than the others. Haley's ball moving for the first time, and that's all it's going to take to get down to the last two.
Let me win.
It's Dennis versus Tim with immunity as the prize to the victor. In the final phase of the challenge, the castaways will have to raise their arms towards the sky. In 3, 2, 1. Sure to make this much harder, but you wouldn't know it by looking at Dennis. And Tim drops, giving Dennis individual immunity.
As for the rest of you, one of you will become the 8th person voted out in Survivor Branford.
I wanted Tasha to be in the final four with us, but she just like really tried to sell me that I need to get you out like now because like you're such a threat. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
And like I'm not worried about going to the end with you if I lose, fine. I'm happy that you won.
I'm happy if you win also.
She came to me and said like, oh, Brandon and Dennis are worried that they can't beat you in the finals.
That's not a true statement at all.
And I know you
promise
guys probably had to say that.
No, I never even said that once.
Oh.
I promise you never said that once. I promise you. No, so every conversation that happened there.
I think it's Tim.
Yeah.
It's not Pat anymore. It's Tim.
Tasha, I gotta be honest with you. You forced my hand. I wanted to keep him for you, but
I was hoping he could stick around a little as a shield for me.
You're not after him. I know.
I feel like that's the way this is going.
No,
in my mind,
but it's not.
So I feel like Tim might be the move.
Because he's the bigger
here.
challenge threat. I mean,
and
he was close there.
and the immunity. Like I feel like if people think what's the one moment of the season so far, they'll think he's immunity idol.
I'm great with that. I'm great with that one too.
I wanted to make sure he didn't win to keep our options open.
Yeah. Okay.
I honestly was really debating whether I should win that challenge, but it's so hard for me to just turn off like my competitive spirit, and I probably was safe this round, but at the same time, Brandon's won a couple individual immunity challenges, so I feel like I did need to win a challenge so I could show that I'm kind of keeping up in all aspects of the game.
Excellent, building up that resume.
I don't know if I want to doing that or not, but I wish I could kind of not let Tim win one of these.
You're rock solid voting for Tim, right?
Yeah, of course.
4 of us. Tim. I think I probably said to you guys, like, I thought we should have, like, kept Tim longer to, like, kind of keep Tasha okay with us, but, like, I think we should get rid of him, like, 100%. So.
Yeah, like, what's she gonna do?
Right now we're voting Tim, right?
Yeah.
We're all I'm on board with Tim. Okay.
They
Do you
were,
know
like,
what Tasha thinks is happening? I think she wants to do Brandon. Listen, I really did my best to keep Tim around for you.
I know.
But because, like, Brandon's now getting heat, I gotta, like, just get somebody else out. Like,
Yeah.
I'm still protecting Brandon. I know that's...
But are you still protecting me?
Yes!
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to tell you this whole time.
I mean, it sucks. Like, he's my closest ally at this point.
Yeah.
So.
I don't think we can take him all the way to the end. So he's got to go eventually. I don't think it necessarily has to be right now, but it kind of is shaking out that way.
All right.
I need Brandon out because he's closer with Sarah and Dennis, my other 2 allies, way more than me. I don't think I can beat him at the end.
If you don't vote Brandon, very close.
Okay. Then, yeah. The problem is that's why we're not gonna have the majority. I don't know where this vote's gonna go. I want to get Tim out, but I also could see the benefit in working with him, so I think it might be beneficial to keep him around for one more round. I'm kind of nervous to see where this vote goes.
I don't think you or Pat or Tasha or I have any chance if I go out this round.
Yeah, I want to vote Brandon. I do want to vote Brandon this round.
I know you want to make a move, and I mean, all of these people betray Michelle.
Yeah.
Like, it's time to get revenge. So.
I know. I'm nervous. I'm very nervous.
Me and Tasha could work with Haley. Well, the problem is we don't really trust Pat, but we could work with Pat and take out one of them. We could take out Brandon. Dennis and Sarah probably will not vote out Brandon. I think they realize that we know that they're a three. They want to pick all of us off one by one.
Yeah.
That's something for you.
We need him.
He was like, Pat's ready. Pat just said he's ready to beat him. I think he thinks he's super tight, but I think those 3 are way tighter.
We need to tell him, like, Pat, you are on the bottom of that 4-person alliance.
Yeah.
Are you thinking going Tim?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody is.
Everybody is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only concern that I have for you specifically is I think that Dennis, Brandon, and Sarah are super tight. And I know that you think you might be tight with them.
You think I might be on the outside?
Outside of that.
Because we've been mainly talking in terms of final 4s,
Yeah.
you know, and not so much
Final 3s.
Dennis, Sarah, and Brandon are super tight and taking each other to the
That's, I can just tell, you are on the bottom of that. They used your name as a decoy vote to us. I know you want to make a move in this game.
Yeah.
Final 7 is the time to do so.
You and Tim
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. I don't trust him either.
I don't trust him, but we need his number.
I think Haley's on our side.
If I can somehow convince them to vote Brandon out this tribal, but I'm having a really hard time getting Pat to see that and be on board.
You're genuinely thinking about making a move? Like,
Possibly, yeah.
Sarah and Dennis, they want to take Brandon in that bad? Like, I'm
I
just...
don't know. That's
seems
kind of the
like-
vibes that I'm getting.
He's such a power player, though, and, like, it's so obvious that,
Yeah.
like, why would they... It's hard for me to accept that they would genuinely do that.
How did that conversation with Haley go?
So, I didn't realize that you guys were legit. Like, she wants to get him now. I hate this one.
I know, but you want to make moves in this game. You want to make a statement, and I feel like now is the time to do so. You know how I just said I'm feeling good, everything's fine. Everything's not fine. I'm freaking out. Pat's a swing vote here, and he's on the bottom of this alliance. He's gonna get voted out, or he's gonna go to the end and not win. I need to convince him to actually work with me. If I go out, it'll be me this round, you at 6.
They literally just told me we're voting Tim and Pat's next.
Yeah. They said last round you were like really squirrely, like hard to,
Yeah.
like you were hard to read.
And it said following before me, Tim, you, Haley, we're locked.
How do I know I'm not on the bottom of that one when we go into the next round?
Because me and Tim have worked together from the beginning. You and Haley are together. Like, there's no majority.
Yeah.
It's just
2-2.
It's just 2-2. It's 4 equals. Vote Brandon, dude, because then we're in the majority. You're at the bottom.
I'm pretty sure all 4 of those guys are going to vote for me, I think. Like, I'm not trying to break the triangle ever. I think it'd be very foolish to break it now and then be fragmented. If you give those 4 the power, I think you 2 are going to get plucked off.
You know why you've heard your name? Because they think they can put that in my head that, like, you're going to beat me again, and then I'll want to get rid of you. But that's not going to happen.
I hear my name. I've heard it multiple times, you know? When you start hearing your name, that's not a good thing. 2 out of 3 challenges is just stupid. That put way too much of a target on me. I wasn't a target that last round at all. I wouldn't have been this round if I hadn't won. I feel like I'm in trouble. It doesn't look good.
What?
You're just putting me out.
No!
Okay, I hear okay, I just want to know.
Do it.
But now they know I'm going pro.
Do it.
Final 7, welcome back to Tribal Council. History has taught us that the final 7 vote is usually where there's a lot that goes down. It's a very dynamic point in the game, but not to get ahead of ourselves, I think we saw that last vote as well when Danny was voted out at the final 8. Dennis, it seemed as if everyone was in on that plan. Do you think that that was the best plan for everyone in this tribe?
In hindsight, it probably won't have been the best move for everyone, but I think in the moment, I think it appeared to be. Danny had put himself out there by calling some of the shots. There's suspicion he had an idol. May or may not be accurate, but that was the perception that was out there, and kind of with that information, I think it was the right move.
These last couple votes, it seems maybe you've been trying to hammer in the highest peg, take out Michelle first, Danny next. Pat, who do you think is in that highest peg role now?
I think if you're looking at the numbers, we've got one player that has played an idol super well, and we've got another player that has won 2 immunity challenges, and those are both pretty good resumes. We also have some people who are very good at the social side of the game, and they're more in control than they seem.
Let's do a little experiment. So, could everybody raise their hand if they slept for more than 5 hours? Haley, potentially the least sleep of the group here. Does that mean that you potentially are the most nervous about your standing in the game?
I think that just, I was playing through so much stuff in my head, like what could work, what couldn't work, and that was kind of what was keeping me up all night. Of course you're scared too. There's 7 people here. We're in the finals now. We're getting that down to the wire, so your spot's never secure, so.
You just keep, literally just, the names is just like a conveyor belt in your head. You're just like counting up. You're like, okay, scenarios, like who's here, who's there. And you just keep going through it. And then you're like, okay, what about this? What about that? What about this? And it's like, is this even productive? Am I even like, what is the point of this?
Tasha, is it too early to be thinking about final 3 and who you want to sit with in the end?
I'm sure everyone is thinking about final 3 because obviously it's a balance between sticking with your alliance and kind of making it as far as you can, but also trying to make sure you have a case for yourself at the end. So I feel like we're all kind of balancing. We have a vote tonight, but also the goal is for all of us, we want to be sitting at that final tribal.
Tim, you gave it your all in that last challenge. Finally fell in the end. Was that representative of how you feel coming into this vote, that you really needed that necklace?
Yeah, it is. I will preach to the whole crew here that in order to get to the end, you need to have a solid alliance. And while some people here are in very solid alliances, there's always someone on the bottom. I don't think everyone's going to get to the end that may think they're in a good position. And on that same token, to get to the end and actually have a chance of winning, you got to make a move.
Brandon, did you have a chance to talk with Tim and maybe relate to some of the struggle that he's going through?
I can't say I've been able to relate to his struggle personally because I can't imagine the position of being like only 2 of you entering the merger, the privilege. 3 of you. Sorry. 3 of you entering the merger. I think it'd be ignorant of me to claim that I can relate to that. Although I think we can all relate to the pressure of being in the final 7 and how nervous it makes us and just trying to make it to the next round.
Pat, do you think that after this vote, a lot of the pieces will be put in place?
Some of the pieces will be put in place, and one of the pieces will be taken out.
Taken off the board.
Is there anything anybody would like to say before we go do the vote?
I think there's this rather foolish narrative out there right now of me being good at challenges, which if you look at the numbers, I've won 2 out of 4, which is great. But if you also look at it deeply, one of them was a 1 in 4 draw when I was on the beach. The second one was a ping pong ball bouncing contest. So I think that, you know, anyone who sees that as a threat, understandable. I don't think it's as big of a threat as you think. And also, if you're afraid of me winning challenges, I think it's impossible to win out for me. So I think it's foolish to get rid of me this early on, if anyone's thinking of that. I think I'm a much more loyal ally leading up to the end, and I think that's more valuable than the potential fear of me winning everything, which is not going to happen.
At least in my mind, and I think for a lot of the jury, a lot of them view the returning players as a kind of a single unit. You guys have played very similar games to one another, and so I think at this point you guys need to differentiate yourselves from one another, and whether it be from challenge wins or social plays. But at this point, this is the final 7. It's the perfect time to make a move, and I know that's what the jury is looking for. So let's make this game a little crazy.
If I were in your position, I'd be trying to stay alive as long as possible and turn the returning members against each other. So I congratulate you on pursuing that effort.
I think I understand everyone's perspective now coming into this vote. Let's see how it plays out. Tim, you're up first.
Hopefully the loan shark has a couple more bites to take of the returning players.
Tim, your comments make a lot of sense. I think are very valid in your speech. I just think for myself, you're the biggest threat with the most differentiated game. I think this is Dubai.
Telling me I should vote Tim, they're telling me I should vote Brandon. There is no house to vote with anymore.
If anyone has a hidden immunity idol and would like to play it, now would be the time to do so. Once the votes are read, the decision is final. The person voted out will be asked to leave the tribal council area immediately. I'll read the votes. First vote, Tim. Tim, 2 votes Tim. Brandon, that's 2 votes Tim, 1 vote Brandon. Brandon, 2 votes Brandon, 2 votes Tim. Tim, 3 votes Tim, 2 votes Brandon. 8th person voted out of Survivor Branford, Tim. Tim, that's 4. That's 2 rounds of 4. Tim,
That was heartbreaking. I thought I at least had a chance of getting Haley's vote. Nothing in the game went very well for me. It was always an uphill battle, and it's tough to see the game shake out the way it did. Happy with how I did. Thankful to have gotten this far, because so many of my allies and friends were not this lucky. I'm rooting for Tasha so hard. Hopefully I will see everyone soon.